thanks to the support as a channel member, Tyler Huffman. Yeah, I know. It's the playoffs. I don't want to play in them either. No, I asked. We do have to do it. The league said something about just taking our medicine. Yeah. Yeah, I'll see you in like 8 minutes. Hello and welcome to part 45 of Holiday Home. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we lose to Atletico Madrid, be in the playoffs, and get sad that we have to do another year in this league. It'll be fine. Of course it'll be fine. Since the last episode, not a lot has happened other than we've renewed a few contracts because we hit the end of the season with a win, which we did win the last game of the season, but then we've renewed a few contracts for some of the younger players. Crucially, not yet been able to renew Sandoval or Ivan Luis, who both could be walking out after this match, along with Jimenez, who won't sign a new contract, Ezra Carrington, who is suspended today and then goes back to Portsmouth. There's quite a few of them who are out of contract after this match that we're going to have to make some decisions on. Everyone highlighted there is out of contract at the end of this season, and some of them, it's going to be a tricky one. So this is the team. We still have quite the list of the walking wounded. Really, just the fact that Boxall and Martinez Perez are both injured at the same time causes huge problems in this central midfield, because it takes both of our central midfielders out of there, because it would be Boxall and Rabiot in central midfield. So we're having to go with very makeshift options in there. So it's Serrano in goal, but he's not completely fit. He's missed the last 3 or 4 games with an injury, but he is now back and fit and back in. We've got Zafra, Galdino, Such and Jimenez as the back 4. Koulibaly alongside Jonathan Jauregui in midfield. This is apparently his one natural position amongst all the positions he can sort of play a bit. And then Rabiot on the left, Sandoval on the right, Lewis in behind, Gorka Pascual, who is tied down for another year next year, but I would imagine won't be quite so free scoring if he loses Ivan Luis and Sandoval as goal creators around him. We expect to lose here, but it's on neutral territory and stranger things have happened. So who knows? Maybe we'll surprise everybody and at least get through to a first playoff final of the series. It would be nice to lose the playoffs in a different way this year, wouldn't it, after all? But we will wait and see. 25,000 people nearly have turned up for this match. I can't imagine Atletico Madrid have sent a lot to go and watch their B team play in a playoff semi-final. Mallorca, I told you to keep an eye on them in yesterday's episode, are winning, but they've had 2 players go off injured in their game. I think it is just a one-off semi-final, so it's on a neutral ground, so there's no 2 legs. So I think that means Mallorca are through to the final, which I told you would happen. And then Jimenez comes across and makes the interception. Ivan Such forward to Koulibaly, and now Ivan Luis finds Pascual. There's not a lot of players around him to support him, and unfortunately he does just kind of turn around straight into trouble as Atletico close him down, and they're now on an attack of their own. Rabiot's come back to try and get involved in helping with a little bit of defending. And what a save from Serrano. Was that a double save from Serrano? And then Jimenez is in with the last-ditch clearance. And that was a huge moment of defending there. Serrano very much justifying why we rushed him back into the team when he wasn't completely fit. He's quite good at doing a goalkeeper. And remember as well, he's supposed to be off at the Under-20 World Cup playing for Argentina at the moment. But we withdrew him from the squad so he could play in the playoffs for us. Then he got injured. But he didn't save that one. And we are 1-0 down against Amdardb. It's a good free kick. We shouldn't be giving them away in that kind of position, though. 1-0 to Atletico. They've got another free kick now. And if our previous playoff form is anything to go by, we're just going to be completely goal shy, despite having a 34 goal striker with a 16 goal striker behind him. So I can do the maths there. That's a 50 goal strike partnership we've got. We won't score in this because we never do in the playoffs. We just kind of shut down and bottle. And that seems to be exactly what's going on. We've been done by 2 set pieces. It's so upsetting because we are huge underdogs who've been hit with injuries to key players including arguably our most key player in the shape of Alex Boxall. Losing him was a massive, massive blow. And then you've got Atletico Madrid, who if they lose a player, they can just pull someone down from the Champions League to fill in the gaps in their squad. I'm not saying that's what they have done and that's why they're beating us, but, you know, it's available to them. It's an option. Galdino heads it straight up in the air, and now Serrano has been beaten, and it's 3-0. I'm losing my voice, and I'm very sad. Just going to drink my water and pretend this isn't happening. I'm now probably going to be a meme in this universe. His team are losing. He changes nothing. He just sits there on the bench, sipping his beverage like a wally. Should probably put the lid back on that as well, shouldn't I? Because otherwise, you know, it might spill all over the computer and we'll have to replay this game. Wouldn't that be a disaster? Jaregi, who we will be letting go this summer, assuming he's out of contract, because the novelty of him wore off long ago. He can sort of play a bit everywhere, but isn't very good at playing anywhere. Ivan Luis is in. It's the last time we're going to see him. We can't afford what he wants to be paid. Last time we checked, he wanted over £3,000 a week, which, unless Mrs. Wearmouth gives us another massive wage budget increase this summer, we're just never going to be able to pay. And bearing in mind just how deep in debt we've managed to get ourselves and how much she's having to throw into the balance, pretty much every month she's investing like 80 grand. I can't see budgets going up. If anything, I wouldn't be at all surprised to see budgets be reduced after being stuck in this league for another year. So I think any hope of keeping Ivan Luis, keeping Sandoval, the two most highly paid players at the club, I think it will be a little bit of a stretch to keep either of them. Never mind both of them. So we are going to be trying to figure out a way to do it all again with probably a weaker squad than the one we've got this year, which is the situation we're in here. I think this squad, despite costing more, certainly depth-wise, has been weaker than the one we had the year before. We're kind of having to move players on when they ask for too much money. Fakal's a perfect example of that. I would have loved to have kept Fakal around, but there was no way I was going to pay £2,000 a week for a 32-year-old 3-star player. And that's the kind of problem we're just going to start running into. As the players are here for a little while, they're going to want more and more and more. And the day is going to come where Rabiot or Boxall or one of these players who've been key for so long, who are completely irreplaceable. But Rabiot will ask for £4,000 a week at some point. Once he's been here long enough, once he gets into his mid-20s, we're going to have a problem. You know what would be really nice? If we just tried to score a goal. Oh, won't we just please try and score a goal? I don't know if I'm persisting with this 4-2-3-1 experiment next year. It certainly helped to turn our rotten form around when we were in rotten form, but it also brought with it a nice little side portion of injuries from the higher intensity system. I think the injury crisis that we've had is largely because of the system that we changed to. And then that led to form dropping off again anyway. So we got a little bit of a boost, an artificial boost up into the playoffs that we probably were never supposed to be in this year because the squad wasn't quite as good as last year. We were probably supposed to finish like 8th this year and it would have been fine. But we've forced our way up into the playoffs, got a bunch of key players injured in the process. And because of that, the system stopped working anyway. So I don't know, maybe we'll go back to the 4-3-3. Maybe we'll finally try a diamond. If Sandoval leaves, maybe we try and sell Martinez Perez and go with a diamond. But then, of course, we're losing Ivan Luis as well. So we'd then have to bring in like 3 strikers, which they don't come cheap. Attacking players are always the most expensive. For us to bring in 3 strikers good enough for this league, it's going to cost us 7 or 8 grand a week that we don't have. Because if we had it, we'd give contracts to the guys who are already here. Oh, my word. Rob Harley to Pascal. See, we just can't score. Why can't we score in the playoffs? I don't understand. That man has got nearly 40 goals this season, and he has not looked like pestering the goalkeeper even for a moment in this match. It is utterly infuriating. Oh. I'm not having a great time. I tell you where else I'm probably not having a great time. As this goes on, I am live on Twitch midway through my world record attempt. If my calculations are correct, this video is going up Friday afternoon. I should be closing in on 30 hours in to my world record attempt for the longest ever game of Football Manager. Or words to that effect. That's not actually the record. I forget the exact wording. I've not got the sheet in front of me. Either way, as soon as you're finished watching the punishment here, which frankly, do you need to watch anymore? It's all gone very wrong. Head over to twitch.tv/lollujo. And if you think I'm upset now, you wait and see how upset I am after 30 hours with no sleep. I'm probably a grumpy goose. Don't remind me this has happened. I'll have hopefully forgotten about this by now. Oh, absolute disaster. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. Come over to Twitch to see the world record attempt as it's happening. Thank you very much for watching. I hate the playoffs. I just hate them.